Okay, we're going to stay in the NBA and we'll take the conversation over to Los Angeles Lakers superstar forward LeBron James. In an off-season ESPN survey, they went through 10 different executives, a combination of 10 executives and scouts. One of the questions they asked them was, who's the best player in basketball? And those guys split their votes evenly, 5 for the Greek Freak and 5 for Kevin Durant, leaving 0 votes for LeBron James. He was not too pleased with that, put out a tweet saying, thank you, as if I didn't need more to gas me up, hashtag wash king. Drink, that's about the size of it. What do you make of his response, and did he deserve a vote for best player in the league?
I think it's fair to ask, like, what was the whole like criteria for this question? Because if without if you omit certain parts of this survey, I think it does LeBron a disservice. It does KD and Giannis a disservice, I think. Without knowing the whole totality. And the reason I say that is this: you ask these 10 executives and scouts, you say, who's the best player right now, currently sitting right now? Well, I can understand if LeBron didn't get no votes. I can understand that. You got KD that bounced back from an injury and in some ways looked better than he did before the injury. Then you got Giannis that had fought through adversity, and at the free throw line, just alone, the adversity at the free throw line to compel his team to win a championship. I just don't understand. If you ask me who's the best player right now, why wouldn't I pick KD or Giannis over LeBron?
Just to clarify kind of your question on this, based on
Okay.
everything I've read, this is based on right now. This isn't like, a career type thing. This is like who's the best right now, because if it was like a career type question, like, of course, I mean, LeBron seems like an easy pick, but this has got to
Right.
be like what right now.
Right. Okay, so yeah, so if it's right now, listen, I got it. LeBron, you upset? I got it. Yo, you going into year 19? Are you kidding me right now? Yo, Giannis not even 30 yet, and you going into year 19? Common sense just tells me, I'ma go with the younger, in his prime. Here's the deal: Giannis seems to be coming into his prime. LeBron, you falling out of that prime, and you might be falling out faster than you want to give credits to. But you got KD. He might be in the middle. If you want to say KD is like might have like peaked at his prime, or he's still in his prime, and he might be coming down. Okay, if you want to say that, that's cool. They still would put both of them above LeBron at this present time. This is not a career award, as you say. So if it's not a career thing, then I just don't understand what LeBron is mad about. Now, LeBron, listen, here's the thing. We just watched that. Well, we not just watched, but we watched the 10-part, Michael Jordan documentary series. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. I'm sorry. People getting mad. That series was about the Bulls too, not just Michael Jordan. Okay, but you know who brought it to the table. So, we just watched that documentary, right? And in that documentary, we seen multiple occasions where Michael Jordan had to make up things to motivate himself to stay on top of the NBA, to put his feet on the throat of the competition. He self-motivated himself. He was just making up dudes I ain't even heard of before in that documentary. I'm like, who? Hey, he told me this. Michael, did that really happen? Nah.
No.
I just wanted to say that. So we seen what he did. I feel like that's what this is for LeBron right here. LeBron know he's going into year 19. He no longer has the invincible aura that he once had as the best player in the world. No matter how he played, he was still considered, I would build my franchise around him, etc., etc. I think LeBron knows this, and he has to motivate himself. He also knows that he has a co-pilot that can't quite, let's say, stay healthy and don't want to quite do the things he needs to do to make himself a even more complete player. So he knows that. Now he knows his team has gotten older on top of that. Now he knows all the pressure, for the most part, is going to be on him if the Lakers are not the Western Conference representatives. And last but not least, every year you got the new and young up and coming talent coming at you. No one cares that it's year 19. That cat that's coming in on year 3 or 4, he's coming for you, LeBron. He don't care. As long as you put on an NBA uniform, that kid will be able to say, I gave LeBron the business. You know how a lot of people like to talk about the clip where Allen Iverson crossed up Michael Jordan? And, you know, it's like, hey, Allen Iverson crossed up Michael Jordan, but they forget Michael Jordan won that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want these moments that will last forever for them. So they're going to come at the GOAT so they can have that moment that lasts forever for them. So with that said, listen, I'm with LeBron. I get where he's going, but this is just a self-motivational tool. That's all it is. Because LeBron, man to man, year 19, ain't no way in hell you think you better than KD and Giannis at year 19. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Hey, listen, you a Mount Rushmore player. You're a surefire Hall of Famer. You the GOAT to many, include me. But at the end of the day, you're not at the point of your career where you could be considered better than both of those gentlemen. So, listen, I just think it's one of those things. Like I say, LeBron is one of the most highly publicized athletes in the world, celebrities in the world, personalities in the world. He's the first athlete to make over $1 billion while still playing his sport. LeBron know what he's doing. He's just trying to motivate himself, will motivate the Lakers, and he's trying to make this one last push for a championship before it's all said and done. So, with that said, I applaud LeBron, but let's keep it real here, LeBron. At this point in your career, you're not better than KD or Giannis.
I completely agree with the idea that this has a mirroring feel to some of the stories we heard in the Last Dance documentary, where Michael Jordan would just create out of thin air, seemingly, just these motivational tactics to, like, oh man, that the 12th man on the bench over there, like he was running his mouth, so now I'm gonna stick it to this team and drop 50 on them. And it just the thing that just comes over in my mind over and over is that meme that got made out of when he said it became personal to me, and it's just all over the internet now.
Right.
I think a similar thing is going on for LeBron here. You kind of have to just search for ways to motivate yourself in going on year 19, 37 years of age. I mean, because there really isn't much at all that LeBron James has not accomplished. So you gotta think, like, it's got to be somewhat difficult to continue to motivate yourself and play at the highest level when you've accomplished almost everything. So I think that's mostly what this is. Does he really believe he deserves votes for this survey that in the grand scheme of things doesn't mean much of anything? This is 10 dudes, so it's not like they took a survey of every GM, and like all 30 GMs, nobody wanted to give LeBron a vote. I don't think it's that big a deal at all. But in the end, I would also say, like, okay, LeBron, let's just say for instance, they took a vote away from Kevin Durant and gave it to you. Do you feel better that you lost 5-4-1? Would that make you feel better? So I think if we're being honest, I don't think LeBron, as of right now, based on what we just saw in the Eastern Conference semifinals between Giannis and KD, we saw the Kevin Durant just heroic performance. Came up a little bit short, we get that, but then Giannis continues. Giannis gets the Finals MVP. Just the continued just resilience of the Bucks to just overcome these big deficits over and over in the playoffs. Being down 2-0 multiple times. When you have those recent memories in your mind, it would lead you to believe that, man, why are we over here thinking about LeBron when these dudes couldn't even get out the first round? So, I mean, I think it's a little bit common sense. And then also the fact that, I mean, LeBron's 37. in year 19, 2 out of the past 3 years he's dealt with injuries. So it would lead you to believe, if you're projecting into the upcoming season, I think it's somewhat unrealistic to say LeBron can be the best player in the world. Now I do think he's the next guy you would think of in a poll like this, but I think it's pretty clear, and I think we've covered this recently. Like, I think you're leaning Kevin Durant right now. I'm leaning the Greek Freak, but I think we agree it's a debate between those two players. Um, but LeBron should take, one thing he should take, some solace in is that even at this advanced age, with the injuries that he's had recently, to be third after those two guys, I don't think that there ain't much shame in that at all.
No, it ain't.